My name is Trevor. Today I'm going to show you how to use a tissue box as a simple organizer. So over here we have an empty tissue box. This is the Sam's Club brand, Member's Mark. So nothing fancy. And we're going to just simply glue the flaps down. This happens to be a Kleenex one, but it's the same principle. And then once you get a couple of these, you can load it up full of random small items. So this is our goal. What we're going to need is a box, a pair of scissors. We're going to use some paper clips, or better yet is binder clips. That's what these are, but these are optional as long as you have something to help hold the flaps down. It's basic Elmer's glue. It's regular strength. It's not watered down. It's nothing fancy. There's different ways of how you can do this. I'm going to simply cut towards the corner, and I'm going to repeat this 4 times. Choose a side. I'm going to pull it outward, and I'm just ripping off this plastic thing. If it starts fighting you, then just simply kind of take it easy, take a little bit at a time, and you can come at it from the other side. Just throw that off. Having a small piece of plastic like this, not really that big of a deal, but if it's easy to rip it off. If you have any of these, what I actually like to do is flour them out. Later I'm going to come in with a drop of glue and put that in and push it down. This helps remind me just to get a little glue under there. And if you forget, it's really not a big deal. I don't really like to put extra effort into cutting these points off, so I usually leave them. But if you want, you can take some scissors and just simply keep it simple, cut it off. I'm going to leave it for the rest of it. Continue to rip out the plastic. Don't worry too much if paper comes with it. Okay, so I've simply ripped it off. Now, it's a good idea to have something that you don't mind getting glue on, that it can come off pretty easily. But I happen to have this mat. I bought it at Michael's for probably $3. Now, because there's actually a little bit of space, I'm going to reinforce it. I'm just going to put a drop or two, nothing fancy, tiny squirt on this one. Just take your fingers, pry it out a little bit. I'm going to stay away from that edge a little bit, just because when you do this, it'll push, and I don't really want it to be squeezing out because it's going to get all over the surface. Now, if glue gets on this, it's not a big deal because it comes off easy, but you can pick up, especially because Elmer's glue, it's water-based, so just a wet paper towel to help clean up anything. And if it dries, then you can very carefully either try to scratch it off or just use like a wet paper towel and set it in place. Get the glue wet and effectively liquefy the glue again, and then you can clean it up. Nothing crazy, a couple tiny dots. All right, so now we're gonna focus on the flaps. I'm just taking my fingernail and just holding it out. You could use something, you don't really need this, but for some reason, if you don't want to use your finger, you can hold it out with something else. Just do a rough trace. Just kind of trace around your finger or the object. And I'm going to take it out of the way. Hold just a small dot in the middle of where the item was. And take this, fold it over. And because I have these, I'm going to use them. Otherwise, I would use paper clips. You can take a water bottle and just set it in place. Now, this method is slower, but this is a good. You can use cereal boxes and ramen boxes and other things. So if you're in a hotel for a couple weeks, that you can start taking your cereal boxes, 50 to 80 cents worth of glue for the whole bottle, and a little bit of time. I think a package of binder clips, maybe $2.50. But you can set it with a water bottle, and it's a slow process. And then once that's dry, you would glue this one as needed, and just do your best. And if the bottle keeps rolling around, once you get your glue in, right, seal the top, you can prop it, let gravity help you out, and then get it in place. So it's a slower process, obviously. So if you have enough binder clips and paper clips to do it all at once, that's kind of ideal. But if necessary, you don't have to have this. Just simply use what's available. I'm going to use the biggest ones available. My binder assortment did have bigger binders, bigger clips, about twice this size. I don't know where they went, and it's not worth the effort for me to search for them. But I would use the biggest available and try to grab at the largest, deepest section. I'm going to do this again over here. As we can see, it doesn't sit flat. I'm going to use additional, but you're just going to use what you have available. Just because I want to get most of this in one shot, I'll probably just put a water bottle on that one. So I really just need clips for these 3, and then I'm going to let this sit for like an hour. This is our ripped up little section. Again, if we forget about this, it's not a big deal, but I'm going to put like a little tiny drop on the back side there, and just using the bottle itself because the glue pops off that orange piece easy. And I'm just gonna simply, like I said, trace it out. Nothing crazy. As you can see, it's not dripping anywhere, so you don't need to go nuts. If it does start dripping, right, you just grab it with your finger and just scrape it back on. It's fine. You'll wash your fingers later. Okay, we're gonna put 2 clips there. Now they don't reach far enough for these little pointy areas. I'm just pushing it down with my fingers, and I'm hoping that it sticks. But I can see that this one on the left is curled up a little bit. So you kind of have to make a decision on how important it is to get those down for you. If it was really important, I would just have to embrace the suck and not be able to do this all at once, and just simply take your glue bottle and like that. And if you're worried about not having enough pressure that way, you can, these are my scissors that it's out of shot, and I've just simply propped it up with and putting the forward pressure. So just get a little creative. It's not that important for me, but I do want to point it out in case it's important to you. Start with a little flap there, dab of glue, spread, fold it, clip it. Now if I had more clips available, I probably would use them, but it's also not my case. It's fine. So I'm gonna push these down because I am gonna put myself in get myself situated so I can just put this water bottle. So for me, I'm gonna do this, I wanna move it shortly after, but I'm just gonna get that up there. And it's that simple. Now I'm just gonna wait about an hour, and then I can take all the clips off. If these end up peeling, like these corners, and they're really bothering you, once the majority of this is dry, then you can come in and get some glue in there. You might have to be a little sloppy and just jam it in there and push it or like pull it into place with your finger, and then you know, and get your bottle or get something. You can also use masking tape, scotch tape, painter's tape. It just depends on what you want. So cheap and easy way of organizing. And this is how you use a tissue box to turn it into an organizer. We can see that it does have, it's got some pretty respectable strength, especially on the sides, these shorter ones. See that it doesn't really flex much. That of course does have a lot more flex, but you know, twisting has movement, but it's not that much. Thank you for watching. Take care.